Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for James. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie review, re-review, topic, tier list, ranking, reaction like this, video game playthrough for an hour, full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and we'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And the request that James sent was for me to react to this video called The Entire Call of Duty's Zombie Storyline Explained by FrenchesOP. Now, FrenchesOP was nice enough to let me use the footage. So if you want to watch this video without me talking and talk over the video, and you want to watch the video on its own without me yapping and yipping and blabbing and fucking about, his video's down below. Feel free to give it a watch, and then you can come back and watch his reaction, however you want to do it. But thank you to FrenchesOP for allowing me to use the footage. Thank you to James for the request. And to be honest, I never played Call of Duty Zombies. I played a few Call of Duty games on the channel. I think only like 2 of them, but I think I tried one bit of Zombies. But it wasn't really a storyline, it was just kind of, they're coming into the room and you shoot zombies. It was like, I don't know, like 10-minute thing. But nothing like this, so I'm very curious to see what this entails. So I'll pause the beginning for syncing. 3, 2, 1, pressing play.
Did the new zombie storyline not interest you? Did you skip out on Cold War, Vanguard, or MWZ, but want to be fully up to date with Black Ops 6? Do you just love storyline videos? Well, get ready for absolutely everything.
I didn't know
you need
Call
to
of
know
Duty
about Call of Duty
Zombies
Black
had a
Ops Zombies
story. I just figured it was just some random DLC where, yeah, go shoot some zombies for a little bit, but apparently there's a storyline, so cool, we'll hear about this. HDM story timestamp, makes sense. Chapter 1 before the games, of course.
In the beginning, there was only the Ether and the Keepers. The Keepers were a race of godlike creatures that existed inside of the Ether, a place beyond time and space. 2 Keepers in particular.
This is still Call of Duty,
above
right?
all, the Shadow Man and Dr. Monty. In this world,
Is that
there
Malcolm
were also
McDowell?
objects
Look
of
like
great
it.
celestial power, such as the summoning key, used to manipulate the Ether. Other objects include the elemental shards, the Vril device, and the Chronorium. Dr. Monty used the summoning
This ain't
key
Halo,
to
is
create
it? Like,
Agartha,
this is Call
a
of Duty,
dimension
right?
similar to heaven, a perfect world. At some point, the Keepers discovered a way to travel to new dimensions, including the Dark Ether. Similar to matter and antimatter, the Dark Ether was a dark mirror dimension for all of matter. Time runs differently in the Dark Ether, about 30 times faster. This place was filled with a corrupting energy that mutated some of the Keepers into a new race called Apothecons. The Shadow Man betrayed
Apothecon
Dr.
sounds like
Monty
Transformers.
and took control of these new Apothecons and declared war on the Keepers. The war raged on, but eventually the Apothecons lost and were banished to the Dark Ether.
I thought we were doing with Call of Duty and
Over
zombies, now a
eons,
whole
they
alien
tried to
invasion.
escape, until learning that Earth, and many timeline variants of Earth, had a way back to Agartha.
Great
They sent
multiverse.
meteors containing element 115, a corrupting dark ether element, to these Earths.
Up at
in
element
hope that
114 and
eventually
116.
war and the human desire for power would eventually open the gateway back to Agartha. And they were right. The Apothecons returned during the late 13th century, so the Keepers and the humans had to team together to successfully banish them back to the Dark Ether. This is known as the Great War. 4 humans used staves of power to defeat them, and are known henceforth as Primus. They and
Primus.
the entire war,
Not
then
Primus,
forgotten,
Primus.
lost to time. Many years pass, and history continues.
Lost in time, no matter
During
where
the
you
old
go,
American
there
West,
you are.
a man creates plans for an object called the Agarthan device. However, it needs 3 ingredients
The
that
Wild
he
West.
does not have: an elemental shard, the blood of an elder being, and the Vril device, the latter of which he creates.
Gonna say Wild West, what is it, Bristol County Jr.? Spruce Gamble gonna pop up?
We
War
then
War
skip
and
to
Black
World War
Ops.
II, where each major nation in the conflict has access to Element 115. Germany and Japan both experiment with 115 on prisoners of war. The German experiments are led by Ludwig Maxis and Edward Richthofen, where they try and teleport matter, but have so far, accidentally, created undead, uncontrollable zombies. They also funded this by creating 115-based weapons for the German army called Wonder Weapons. Many things happen during this time, but the important part
weapons
is that
look like someone
Richthofen
from
goes mad due to contact with the 115. Ludwig Maxis has a
name of the
daughter,
damn
Samantha,
game.
and a dog named Fluffy, which Richthofen and Maxis experiment on and create, accidentally, a hellhound. Samantha walks in and tries to protect her dog,
Jesus.
and Richthofen betrays Maxis by teleporting both of them, assuming that they both die. Samantha ends up on the German moon base and finds an Agarthan machine called the MPD and enters, taking control of all the zombies. Ludwig Maxis' mind is lost within another dimension, the Crazy Place. While experimenting on live prisoners on a German base in Siberia, Richthofen discovers and begins investigating the elemental shard. With help from the voices in his head, which include the Shadow Man, he imbues the shard with the souls of 3 prisoners.
He takes his Shadow Man. I
Realizing
always think of
this is
that game back in the
he also
day
imbues his
for
own soul too.
PlayStation, Nintendo
Dr.
64.
Monty, realizing that the Shadow Man is seeking to escape, subliminally pushes
The other guy
scientists
must
in
be-
Germany to create
See,
various
this stuff
drinks
looks like
that cause various
Bioshock.
different effects.
That's the damn thing.
These
It
are
looks
then known
just
as
like
pack
Bioshock.
coders. He also pushes for the invention known as the Pack-a-Punch machine, and scatters magical chalk outlines as well as a weapon-producing mystery box around the world. These 3 prisoners of war, who had had their memories partially wiped, help Richthofen by travelling around the world using the mostly complete teleporter to places such as Russia, Shangri-La, Siberia again, and ultimately the German moon base. The 3
Here
are
I thought you
Takeo
just
from
shoot
Japan,
zombies. Damn.
Nikolai
man.
from Russia, and American Dempsey.
A lot more
This
to
group
it than I
of 4 are
thought.
known as Ultimus.
Ultimus.
Richthofen uses the Vril device he found earlier in Siberia to switch places with Samantha and takes control of the zombies. Their eyes turn from yellow to blue. Ludwig Maxis, who had learnt to harness electricity in the Crazy Place, convinces Ultimus to help stop Edward, but betrays them and sends 3 rockets to Earth, which explode and shatter the planet into pieces.
Son of a bitch. What the hell? Zombie Moon Easter egg hidden. Okay. Wow. Son of a bitch. You laugh, but you're on the moon. What the fuck you don't do on the moon? You don't run out of air.
Ultimus then
Dickhead.
teleport back to Earth and are imprisoned by American soldiers.
Teleport back to Earth, but then the Earth explode? There's enough of Earth left to
Meanwhile,
not
on
die?
Earth, a group of 4 survivors nicknamed Victus fight off Richthofen's undead army. They travel around the world and help Maxis, who speaks to them through electronic signals. One of the crew, Stuhlinger, can hear Richthofen due
Why
to
does the
eating
music sound
zombie
like
flesh.
Grease?
Eventually, with Maxis'
Like
help,
50s.
Victus sends Richtofen's soul into the body of the zombies, forever stuck as he dies and dies again. Ludwig Maxis, now in full control, takes Samantha's soul from Richtofen's original body and takes her to Agartha, and then destroys the Earth. Samantha, safe in Agartha, sees what her father has become. In a
Yeah, an
different
asshole.
universe, 4 mobsters are locked up in Alcatraz as they plan an escape, but are caught in a time loop during a zombie outbreak. In every cycle, 3 of the mobsters learn that the other snitched and kill him before being sent to the electric chair or killed in the outbreak. Eventually, the cycle breaks when the snitch, Al Arlington, kills the others and his soul is freed. In the same timeline, where the Great War in the 13th century was documented, alternate versions of the Ultimus crew meet in France during World War I. Element 115 and the 4 Staffs of Power are unearthed, and a localized zombie outbreak occurs in France. Richtofen and Maxis, who are friends in this dimension, fight off the zombies before Maxis is bitten, and Richtofen keeps him alive by operating on him and saving his brain. Alternate versions of Nikolai, Takeo, Dempsey, and Richtofen all meet for the first time. The 4 hear Samantha Maxis, now cleansed of her madness, calling to them in their heads, and follow her advice to save this new, nicer Ludwig Maxis, who is sent to Agartha using portals to the Crazy Place. Once
If we
arrived
have
in
to.
Agartha, Maxis then gains the
We
power
gotta
to
save him.
teleport others across different dimensions. After the outbreak, Samantha, playing with toy zombies, argues with a child version of Richtofen called Eddie about the colour of the zombies' eyes, as Maxis orders them to come down to the basement. Richtofen uses Maxis' power to find his Ultimus zombie version and instructs him to bring Victus, now walking the empty earth, to the Chronorium and find the blood vials.
That's crazy. Did you have a
The
comic
Chronorium
book
is a
of it too?
that details
Wow.
the past and future.
Must have been that
Teleporting
popular,
them
dude.
back to
Damn comic
Alcatraz,
book.
He then puts them in stasis and hands the vial to a future version of himself. Meanwhile, in the same dimension, 4 residents of Morgue City unknowingly help the Shadow Man and have to imprison him inside of the summoning key.
This
Just before
sounds
the keepers
so
can take the key from them,
overly
Maxis teleports
complicated.
Richtofen there to steal it. They are unaware of who
This
it is
guy's
inside.
doing the best he can to explain it, but I'm like, god damn. David
Richtofen,
Lynch is like more
Dempsey,
easy to
Nikolai,
understand.
and Takio then teleport throughout the multiverse to find and kill alternate versions of themselves and absorb their souls into the summoning key. Richtofen kills his Ultimus past self just after he teleports Ludwig and Samantha in the original timeline, creating a splinter universe called a Fracture. He realizes this soul is not pure, so travels alone to Dimension 2210 and kills an orphaned version of himself, which he then sends to Agartha to befriend Samantha. Richtofen is following instructions in the Chronorium in how to
Wait,
save
he kills
the
him, then
universe.
sends him?
The Chronorium is a book that details the past and the future. This is also how he knows to create a lab underneath of Alcatraz Island. They make a quick stop at Alcatraz after collecting Richtofen, Dempsey, and Nikolai's souls, and pick up 4 vials of each of the gangsters' blood. This is done by interacting with a past version of himself to hand off the vials. They also meet Maxis' love interest, Sophia, a science officer who, after being infected, was transferred into an AI by Maxis. After
Right,
collecting
you
Nikolai's
know, have sex
soul,
with a
the
robot
last one
next.
needed, Dr. Monty introduces himself to them and invites them to Agartha. In Agartha, child versions of the main 4 characters, plus Samantha Maxis, live with a now restored Ludwig Maxis in a house. These children are uncorrupted souls. Dr. Monty's plan is to create a new, perfect world in Agartha, but needs the souls to do it. One night,
And no
Ludwig
such thing as
hears the summoning key
perfection.
whispering to him, and inadvertently releases the trapped Shadow Man, who traps him in the summoning key and begins to destroy the house. He also opens a portal to the Dark Ether, letting the Apothecans spill in.
Of course. I didn't know there was this much damn story. I just figured you just kill zombies. That's it.
With the
Damn.
help of Sophia and Dr. Monty, Richtofen, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio destroy the Shadow Man. Sophia, and a remnant of Maxis in the summoning key, sacrifice themselves to close the portal to the Dark Ether, saving Agartha and resetting the universe. Dr. Monty questions the 4 on why they have not yet disappeared, and notices the blood vials, now empty. The 4 had drunk the blood, which had belonged to the mobsters within their own time loop, stopping their fading from existence. Dr. Monty, tempted to wipe them from existence, instead allows them to complete the loop by sending them to the late 13th century, where they help the Keepers in the war against the Apothecons using staves of power, and are named Primus.
You got the Infinity Stones, looks like. They do look like the Infinity Stones before they... Phew. Now they join Ash from Army of Darkness. The end for now. Yeah, I figured not close because we're not even halfway through. Black Ops 4.
This main cycle repeats forever. Until,
And ever.
during Primus's trip to Alcatraz to pick up the blood vials, the Chronorium's words change due to Al Arlington killing the other mobsters and breaking the cycle. Another version of Richtofen meets Primus Richtofen for the handover. He also tells current Richtofen to read the Chronorium again, as it has changed. Primus Richtofen realizes he must sacrifice himself. The Warden destroys their usual portal. With help from the spirits of the 4 mobsters, current Primus Richtofen hooks himself to a bloodletting machine to release all the souls of Alcatraz. This also opens a cryopod containing a version of Richthofen from after he was sent back to the Great War. He uses a crystal from his Staff of Power to break the prison cycle. This version of Richthofen lets current Richthofen bleed to death and destroys the blood vials, now useless.
Damn, I'm confused. This Richthofen, that Richthofen, the other Richthofen?
Future Richthofen then leave, but before this, Richthofen gives up the Chronorium to Nikolai, as he doesn't have the strength to do what must be done. Nikolai is the only
and you got a
one who
trophy
still have
too.
their soul, and because they never sent the others to Agartha, only Eddie and Samantha remain at the house with Monty. Primus head to the American prison holding Ultimus, just back from the moon, and tell them they need to work together to avert Dr. Monty's control of the universe and end the cycle. The 8 of them find the elemental shard, but are radioed by Maxis that they are too late, and Monty kills him in front of the child versions of Richthofen and Samantha, but does manage to teleport them out to Primus and Ultimus. Samantha, still imbued with powers from her time in the MPD, goes berserk and swears vengeance on Dr. Monty. Joined by zombie Richthofen, the 11 of them head to a forest and toast to their futures once they defeat Monty. They awaken Victus from stasis and instruct them to go to Siberia. Once there, they finally build the Agarthan device, the plans of which have been laid for a millennia.
He's doing a good job
Finally,
editing
having
all this
3
together
ingredients
to try
they
and make
send
this
to Nikolai.
cohesive as he can.
However, Primus Nikolai poisons the other members of Primus and Ultimus, leaving just the kids, himself, and zombie Richthofen. Using it, he destroys the summoning key, bringing about the end of creation, as all of time and space is sucked into the dark ether. The reason for all this, it is revealed, is that when Ultimus Richthofen imbued the elemental shard with the souls of the Ultimus crew, he linked the 4, and all versions of them, with the ether, trapping them in a cycle of never-ending chaos.
Great.
Nikolai, having read the pages of the Chronorium, knew this was the only way to end the cycle. Nikolai then shoots zombie Richthofen, and then tells Samantha to kill him. She tells Eddie to look away. Creation begins to disappear, including Victus. A light appears, and Samantha and Eddie, the only 2 remaining people, perfect souls, walk into the light of the new, singular, uncorrupted, and keeper-free world.
And what, they don't fuck a lot? They don't be a lot? I mean, I don't think I want to see that. I don't think that's right either.
Well, that brings us to the halfway point of this story. Whether you've watched it all so far or skipped ahead, thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more zombies content coming.
I'll give a
very
like.
soon. Anyway, onwards.
Because he's doing a good job. It's not his fault. I'm confused already. I was confused 5 minutes in, but it's not his fault. It's just I never play these games, so I'm like trying to get all the names and who's. It's from this timeline, but this dimension. This what the fuck?
Just the Call of Duty campaign history as we know it, with Mason, Woods, Price, and Soap. However, the Dark Ether still remained, dormant, a corrupted mirror dimension.
Dark Ether remain. Yeah, you
Ether
did
was
Doom
now
Guy.
ruled by elder gods,
He'll take care of it.
entities of near infinite power that had
Just
different
did Doom Guy.
personalities. For example, Cortifex was an evil tyrant, hell-bent on conquering and destruction, while Nauticus was, while still being a conqueror, pro-democracy. These gods fought in the Nether Wars.
Pro-democracy,
an
I'm
ongoing
sure he
fight
was.
between Cortifex and the anti-Cortifex gods. Within the Dark Ether, a great stone being, whose origins are so distant they are unknown, known as the Construct, existed. This monolith could give some of its infinite power to someone once it deems them worthy. The Nether Wars were fought over this construct. The being who is given this power is known as the Archon. Previous Archons have eradicated entire Dark Ether species, destroyed the Dark Ether moon into shards, and more. Each of the gods were linked with an artifact on Earth, but while they could use their powers to see into the world, they were stuck inside of the Dark Ether. During World War II, these artifacts were collected by a man named von List, a German commander. An old colleague of von List,
no, the Germans.
demonologist known as Gabriel
Not the
Kraft,
Germans.
abandoned the work once he saw von
Not the
List's
Kraft
plans
cheese.
and the artifact's potential power. At this time, the Germans created Project Endstation, a facility in Poland to hold Die Maschine,
Not
a
Project
cyclotron that was
PlayStation.
intended to help give Germany access to nuclear energy, but instead malfunctioned and
The Germans
unintentionally
created
punched a hole through
PlayStation with
reality,
craft cheese.
opening dimensional portals to the Dark Ether. These new rifts restore the connection between the objects, the Dark Ether, and their associated god, becoming active.
Great.
Cortifex whispers to Von List through his object, and manipulates him into touching it. He and Cortifex then link, giving Von List the powers over the dead. He then creates an army of undead soldiers that Germany lost during the war effort so far.
Of course.
This relationship, while seemingly mutually beneficial, is closer to a parasitic relationship, as Cortifex whispers false promises to Von List. Gabriel Kraft informs the Vanguard Special Forces of Von List's new powers and plans to wipe
Goddamn,
out the
almost as a
Allies.
Shao Kahn.
This Special Forces group also bond with other artifacts and gain special abilities, while also being now helped by gods fighting against Cortifex. Eventually, once Cortifex had gained enough
Where were
strength,
these gods the
he
first time
betrayed Von
around? All these
List and
damn
travelled to the
gods to help
construct,
out.
but was denied its power because it hadn't completed the construct's trials. During this, Kraft finds and kills Von List. Cortifex completes the trials and is then deemed worthy by the construct and becomes the Archon. The Vanguard team work with the other gods to destroy him, and as the construct vanishes, a defeated Cortifex falls into the darkest depths of the Dark Ether. It is worth noting that Gabriel Kraft also mentions that a hero of his was Alistair Rhodes, an amateur demonologist and potentially a main character in the Black Ops 4 Chaos storyline. While this may simply be a small reference, this may be important later down the line in Black Ops 6 and beyond. Back in Poland, Project End Station staff are locked inside the facility and corrupted by the Dark Ether. It is found by the Russians, and they send in a man named Kazimir Zykov to deactivate the machine and lock him inside. They then abandon the facility. 39 years later, in the midst of the Cold War, the Russian science division known as the Omega Group
Who would he
enter the
piss off?
station
Get
in
that
hope of
job
finding
going,
secret
get
weapons,
locked
and
in for
accidentally wake
39
up
years?
the dormant zombie horde that had once been the staff. This also causes smaller dimensional tears to appear around the world. Samantha Maxis, one of the only two survivors of the previous universe, grows up in West Germany. She joins the intelligence agency for Germany and finds herself in Iran during the Islamic Revolution of 1979, where she is
Man, she
saved
must
and
be like, I'm
extracted out
tired
by
of all this
Grigori
shit.
Weaver.
Thought we
At
fixed
some
this
point
already.
after this, Weaver and Maxis are tasked with a not yet known mission. During this mission, Weaver tries to cover his tracks by burning down a house, but is unaware that a little boy is still inside, and he burns to death. He tearfully tells Maxis that the boy was meant to be with his mother and not at the house. Later, she learns of certain outbreak zones around the world. She remembers almost nothing of her childhood traumas from before the Universal Reset, but reaches out to Weaver anyway, as she fears her intelligence agency is being controlled by the Omega Group. Weaver, having come straight from losing his eye in the events of Black Ops 1's campaign, agrees to help after seeing a video from Project End Station. Weaver sends Requiem, an American team looking into the outbreaks, to Poland, and there they learn of Omega Group's plans to use the Dark Ether to win the Cold War. At the
And
facility,
they're giving purple
decaying
guns.
and time-altered versions of the Perca-Colas, Pack-a-Punch machine, and Mystery Box are found. These are all remnants of the old universe. They destroy the facility with the help of Orlov, an Omega Group member who had been mutated into a radioactive zombie. He sacrifices himself. Samantha Maxis then makes her way to Vietnam, where she has heard of another outbreak at a firebase. She goes to
Vietnam,
meet with an undercover
1984.
Omega Group agent called
The
Ravenov.
fuck?
She is found and kept captive by an American traitor named Peck, working for the Omega Group. After continual torture, Samantha doesn't break, so she is thrown into a Dark Ether portal. Requiem's strike team arrive, and with Ravenov's help, drug Peck into telling them where Samantha is and reopen the portal. Samantha, who had only been in there for 2 Earth days, was in there for almost 2 Dark Ether months. She also returns with purple eyes. Before they can escape, a giant corrupted elder god named the Order appears and tries to stop them. The strike team destroy it, sending it back to the Dark Ether. Once they leave,
Of course they do.
Requiem's director forces Maxis to enter quarantine after
Best
her time
director
in the
ever,
Dark
my
Ether.
ass. You ain't doing
She
your
is
goddamn
questioned by the
job,
same
buddy.
members of Requiem overseeing the destruction of Project End Station. They are Major Carver, an ex-Defense Department member who was hand-picked by the director of Requiem as head of containment. Oscar Strauss, an ex-Project N Station researcher whose research led to the development of the Wunderwaffe DG-2 for von List. He later defected at the end of World War II. And Elizabeth Gray, head of Requiem's Unnatural Sciences. Peck, who is still alive and at the firebase, has his eye removed by Omega Group's leader, Kravchenko, for his failure. Over the next few months, more outbreaks occur in the Ural Mountains.
So I'm not saying that, I'm just trying to keep up with all the information.
The first task is to meet with Ravenov, who is worried about the Dark Ether crystals appearing in the outbreak zones. These crystals are also forming entities called Tempests, Dark Ether crystals made sentient and electrical. Using a radio in her quarantined room, Samantha Maxis contacts the team and Ravenov and discover Omega Group want to fire reality inversion warheads to the west, which would turn
reality
the target area
what
into
warheads?
its Dark Ether counterpart. After defeating a giant Tempest called Legion, the missiles are diverted away into the middle of the Philippine Sea. Around this time, Weaver gifts Maxis a Rottweiler puppy named Not So Fluffy. She is allowed to walk it twice a day.
It's a shitty name for a dog. Not so fluffy.
Might as
well call him short fuck or short round or something. I don't know. Not so fluffy.
It's
a shitty name.
Found in outbreak zones and mystery boxes to move through the Ethereum gas surrounding the outbreak.
Teddy
zone.
bear? What?
They realize far too late that the scientists have already been killed, and who they thought they had been speaking to was actually the Omega Group. Although they are able to successfully defeat another order, Kravchenko imprisons them and takes them to Berlin. Included in these prisoners is Raptor 1, a pilot who has been dropping off and exfilling the strike team from the outbreak zones. During this time, Samantha Maxis and Elizabeth Gray begin to grow closer and form a romantic relationship. Suddenly moved into isolation, Maxis is interrogated and abused.
Do we get a lesbian sex scene too?
He wants to harness her regained powers that have started to reactivate since being in the Dark Ether. Weaver promises
Can they both show their titties to each other?
The director threatens to
Not
have
so.
Weaver
What the
disappear if
fuck
Sam
names
can't
are
produce any
these?
powers. This causes her to
Not so
inadvertently
fluffy.
shatter
I still
some
can't get
parts
over
of
that
her. The
shitty
imprisoned
fucking
strike team
name.
are propositioned by Kravchenko to help him defeat a rogue Omega Group scientist called Valentina, who has her
What's
eyes
that?
on
It's called the
World
dog
Domination.
limp dick.
She was the
Sorry,
daughter
okay,
of the
I'll
lead
get over
scientist at Project N Station. Kravchenko also confirmed
Project
that they are
PlayStation,
racing
I
to
get
free
it.
a man who had been stuck in the Dark Ether for years. Casimir Zykov,
Ash Williams.
the soldier
Oh,
sent
okay.
in to turn off the cyclotron at Project N Station. Valentina had
Oh yeah, the guy that
been
was in there
her
for like
whole
30
life
some
by a
years.
voice
He,
sounding
the
like her
the
father's
poor son
after he
bitch.
had died. She merges
Well, I don't know
with
if he was
the
there for
Dark
30 some
Ether,
years, but they
is
left him in there, and then they
finding
said
out that the
30 some
voice
years
was
later.
actually one of an elder god known as the Forsaken, manipulating her. Kravchenko reveals that Omega Group want to contain and control the Forsaken to use against the
What?
West. With the help of a psychopathic robot called Klaus, the outbreak is closed, but Klaus
God,
is
now we got
left inside
evil
the
German
Dark Ether.
robots.
Strike Team and Raptor 1 are betrayed by Kravchenko, who goes back on their deal.
Sour
The portal
Klaus.
opens on the roof,
Goddamn.
and as they jump through, they see Maxis as she uses her powers to teleport them. After her powers are used, the director notes that she now presents a problem that must be dealt with. He also states that Project Janus can now proceed. Months later, the director agrees to let Sam help with Requiem's final mission in Russia, at a training facility. She is not, however, allowed to rejoin the team at this time. Gray and Maxis confirm their feelings for each other when saying goodbye. It is likely around this time where Samantha Maxis' DNA is obtained and frozen for later use. As the Requiem strike team,
What kind of later
infiltrate the
use?
facility,
Do I have a kid or
Peck and
something?
Kravchenko beat them to it and have created a portal made to the specifications of Zykov's request. Zykov comes through the portal and immediately transforms into the elder god, the Forsaken. Zykov had been driven mad by his almost 400 years in the Dark Ether and survived by eating the undead, Dark Ether materials, and eventually all other elder gods and old ones, absorbing their powers. This likely includes the Vanguard gods, although Cortifex is potentially still in the depths of the Dark Ether. The Forsaken begins to destroy everything, but is stopped by Maxis, who teleports in and begins to fend off the attack. While trying to fend off the zombies, Peck and Kravchenko are caught in an explosion, to which they are considered dead.
Watch where you're shooting! The gaslight!
The strike team managed to weaken the
Bye-bye.
Forsaken enough for Sam to damage it, which she does by absorbing zombie souls. The Forsaken gives the strike team a vision of
What kind
the
of
future,
fucking axe
showing
is that?
Strauss, Gray, Carver, and Peck all killed on the floor, with the words, "No one escapes alive," over some graffiti of a woman with powers.
Yeah, I guess no one does
Maxis
escape.
interrupts this vision and deals the final blow by opening a portal inside
I guess
of
you
the
better not
Forsaken,
care for any tears.
flying
Doesn't
into
fucking
the sun,
live.
trapping her back inside of the Dark Ether. The Forsaken and the Portal disintegrate and are sucked into the containment device created by the Omega Group, looking very similar to Sophia from the original timeline. The containment device is flown away to Liberty Falls, a research station run by Project Janus. The director, happy with the outcome, arrests the strike team and sends them to Black Site 13 for indefinite containment. He
The
shuts
fuck
down
are you happy
Requiem
with the
and has
outcome? Oh, I
Weaver,
just...
Carver, Strauss, Gray, and Raptor 1 arrested and sent to Terminus Island. Before leaving,
Oh, they're arrested.
the director passes
What?
a picture of his wife and son.
I
And
thought they were fucking dead. Or I don't know.
A
Someone
similar
else was
house
dead.
to
I don't
Agartha.
fucking know.
The director is then revealed to be Edward Richtofen, Eddie, the only other surviving person from before the Universal Reset.
I was wondering what happened to the other kid.
5 years later, a disfigured Peck seeks passage from Japan to the middle of the Philippine Ocean to reunite with some old friends.
Trying to remember who the fuck Peck was. Modern Warfare Zombies. Yeah, Gesundheit.
Skipping all the way to the 2020s, a mercenary group called Terminus Outcomes identify a point of interest in Urzikstan. This group is run by Fletcher, who once served on Terminus Island in the mid-90s. They enter a building's basement and find the long-dead remains of the heads of Requiem, Weaver, Carver, Gray, and Strauss. They are all sitting round and connected to a machine. The machine opens, and 2 Dark Ether vials pop out, but another 2 are missing. Viktor Zakayev, from the Modern Warfare campaigns, is given one of the vials and breaks it, starting an outbreak. The US is ready, however, as after the Cold War, Operation Deadbolt was formed to counter these outbreaks. Also working for Deadbolt is Ravenov, who after the Forsaken was captured, went MIA and evaded capture. During this time, he unsuccessfully plotted to rescue Sam with the Requiem leads. After this, he struggled to find meaning. Around then, his DNA was acquired without his consent. Miller is also a Deadbolt worker who, as a child, survived an outbreak in Liberty Falls. Her mother and father both died. Deadbolt operatives help extract Ava Jansen, an Ethereum-studying physicist who was working for Zakayev after he offered to fund her research. After agreeing to help Deadbolt, Ava has a vivid hallucination of a zombie outbreak at the Deadbolt facility. She sees undead versions of the Requiem team and a female entity calling to her, asking to be let in. She fights off the zombies and suddenly slashes at Ravenov's neck, killing him. While being arrested, her eyes turn purple and she says,
"You will never be alone again. We will be one."
She wakes and realizes she was hallucinating, with Ravenov still talking to her on the other end of the radio. Throughout the next few months, Deadbolt makes multiple incursions into the outbreak zone and defeats the being known as the Entity that seems somehow linked to Ava. She also discovers that she has ethereal powers. Eventually,
Great.
after nearly being lost into the Dark Ether, Ravenov tells her the truth. Her mother was Samantha Maxis, and her father is Ravenov, but carried and born through surrogate by Elizabeth Gray.
That's what the
Ravenov
DNA
shows
was
Ava a
for.
recording, in which Gray admits she gave Ava up to protect her at 3 years old.
I was
So
kind of
because
kid when
of
they
her
said I was
Maxis
going to be a
genes, she
kid,
is
but
linked with the Dark Ether
there you
more
go.
than
It
anyone
was
else.
for a kid.
She also learns that Requiem knew they were going to die. Ravenov tells Ava that the Entity is a shadow or reflection of her, born at the same moment she was, and its influence on her still grows stronger. In one last mission, the Entity admits to Ava that there are other ancient beings in the Dark Ether that want her power. In the final battle with the
Want her
Entity,
power, huh?
Deadbolt, Ava, and Ravenov defeat it in the same way Samantha did against the Forsaken, by powering herself up with zombie souls, and it then disappears.
Okay.
As the Entity fades, it says, "Little sister, he is searching for you. The Shadow Smiths will take you." The outbreak zone disappears, and the gateway to the Dark Ether collapses. 3 months later, in West Virginia, Ava is at Liberty Falls, the site where Richtofen was holding the containment device. She is in some sort of motel. She answers a call from Ravenov while looking through folders labelled Project Janus. A photo of Richtofen is in the front. As Ava walks past a mirror, a shadowy figure appears inside of it, surrounded by purple smoke. The silhouette of rooftops can be made out behind the figure, and it seems to be wearing a hat, very reminiscent of the Shadow Man from the original universe. It is slightly different though. Ava mentions that she is curious about Miller's report about where she survived an outbreak as a child. Suddenly, Ravenov starts shouting warnings for her to get out, but the shadowy figure reaches a purple, ethereal hand out and reaches through. It calls to Ava as a chorus of voices.
Ava
Of course it
approaches,
does.
asking if it's her mother, Samantha, when it suddenly
Ain't
grabs
no
her by the
you,
wrist
ain't
and pulls her
not
into the
your
mirror,
damn
now
mother,
a
you
swirling
idiot.
purple vortex.
You moron.
The only thing remaining is her phone, as Ravenov
Dumbass.
pleads for her to answer. The painting on the wall of the room
I even
says,
knew it wasn't your
"Welcome
damn
to
mom,
Liberty
you
Falls.
idiot.
One visit, and you'll want to stay forever."
Forever. Forever and ever. Forever.
6 years after the Forsaken had been captured during the Cold War, Edward Richtofen dreams of his family on a picnic, where he sees that they are suddenly burning alive. He awakens at Liberty Falls. He has a large, noticeable but healed scar on his neck. An alarm starts sounding. He checks in with his team from a monitor, who state that something is wrong with Sam on sub-level 10. Dimensional breaches are occurring across the facility. The staff suddenly vanish, with a gaseous pool behind them. Richtofen grabs a Wunderwaffe DG-2 and saves a security officer named Blanchett. He asks him to secure and call in response teams, locking Liberty Falls down. He fights his way past a T-Rex skeleton and reaches an elevator where he states his name is Edward Richtofen, director of Project Janus. Once inside, a purple smoke slams him against the wall as he shouts that Sam will never be free, and then disappears. The elevator door opens, revealing the containment device of the Forsaken, and Samantha's voice replies,
But Edward, I already am.
Great, it's a fucking portal.
At the exact same time, the 5 imprisoned members of Requiem are being tortured to madness on Terminus Island. Strauss may have started to go mad. Raptor 1 is enjoying some music. Gray and Carver are doing press-ups, and Weaver is surrounded by his writings on the wall, including a day tally, the word Richtofen,
They're still doing push-ups from
drawings of some
before?
wonder
Damn.
weapons, the
Just that
Requiem
much else
logo,
to do.
and a drawing of some Elder God symbols, including the construct. A new character, Maya Aguinaldo, kills the guard and breaks them out.
Oh, nice music.
Peck approaches and introduces her. Carver attacks Peck, but they realize that they have a common enemy now, Richtofen. Richtofen has allegedly stolen Peck's life work. He suggests finding and killing him. An alarm sounds, and Maya protests that they need to find her brother.
Sorry, just
They
enjoying the
agree to split
music.
up, restore power, find Maya's brother, and then extract. When you load into Liberty Falls, you will be working as a strike team 24 hours after the incursion began, assisting Blanchett to find survivors and investigate the mysteries of the small town. But there seems to be a mysterious church whose doors lead into the Dark Ether once again. When joining the Requiem team on Terminus Island, you will discover mutant zombie hybrids, an outbreak that has only just begun, and hopefully, Maya's brother and a way out. You will need to work with Peck this time, but is he trustworthy? There is also something lurking in the water just outside the island.
And, I guess for the last time, hoorah.
Well, 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 look who made it to the end of the video. Here's your honorary zombies degree. Thank you all so
take
much
it.
for watching all of this. It's a miracle I finished it on time, but I'm really happy with how it came out. Please leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. You'll get more edited Black Ops 6 content as well as the usual custom maps.
Very
If there's
cool.
anything I got wrong in this video, please just let me know in the comments and I'll pin your correction. With that being said, we're
Don't
just
ask me,
one
I
week
wouldn't
out from
know
Black Ops 6.
what was right or wrong at all. Because the only Call of Duty I've played, and I'm going on my channel just to double check, I've played Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which I would like to play those again. I haven't played those in a long time, but I would actually like to play those games again. Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. The only two I played. Now, never played any of that. I didn't know it was that complicated of a story, but give credit where credit's due. It looks like they try to be as in-depth of a story as you can. I mean, when I've heard of Call of Duty Zombies, but I just figured it was trying to think. Left 4 Dead. I guess I just figured it'd be like Left 4 Dead. It's just different. You're in just World War II area or whatever backdrop, and you're just killing zombies. You get from A to B, but obviously there's a lot more to it. So for anyone out there, do you play Call of Duty Zombies for the story and such, or just for the gameplay? That'd be a question to ask for people who do watch this. But yeah, I will say well done the video, very well edited. I'll be honest, I got lost pretty early on because there's a lot of people, a lot of names, a lot of information. Obviously, it probably helps if you played the games and you're familiar with the characters. So I'm like, okay, there's these, and there's the mobsters, and then there's the people who are in the prison, and there's a guy that went into the bunker with the gas mask, and he came in, he's a god, and you have the two kids that are left, and then there was a guy that loved Malcolm McDowell, and Dr. the Full Monty, and some fucking dog, not so fluffy, shitty name, and all. There's a lot of stuff to get front and center on, but very nicely done video, I will say. So, it may go over my bald head, but hey, it looks fun. I'll give it that. So, very nice job from this guy. Thank you for allowing me to use the footage. Thank you, James, for the request. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm sorry that it's at times silent because I'm trying to listen because it's a lot of information and I don't want to... I talk over it consistently, then I'm like, oh, how come this is this? Well, he said it, jackass. But you weren't listening because you're trying to be funny and failing. But thank you. Take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.